My name is Carolyn Green, and I have the pleasure of moderating this panel. And as many of you folks from ABE know, I am a stickler for starting and ending on time. We have with us today a really interesting panel of energy experts from various organizations. What we're going to do with this session is operate it as a conversation. I will direct some questions to the panel, and then we'll engage in a little bit of back and forth discussion among us before opening it up to the audience. Since really the purpose of these conferences is to make sure that you get to ask your questions and make your comments. I'd like to start, though, by introducing our distinguished panelists. First, we have Ann Chan, who is the director of the California's programs for the Center for Clean Air Policy. She's got 15 years of legal and public policy expertise in finance, environmental law and policy, public and private international law, comparative law, which I'd love to find out exactly what that is, and climate change. She also has a really good background in forestry, in fact having served as the California Policy Director of the Pacific Forest Trust, where she worked to strengthen the role of forests in compliance and in voluntary climate programs. She also helped design and teach a graduate level course in environmental law and policy that was jointly offered through the Yale School of Forestry and Environmental Studies and the Yale School of Management. Help me welcome Ann Chan. Next we have Jason Eisdorfer. He's the greenhouse gas policy strategist for Bonneville Power Administration, which, as most of you know here in the West, is the federal water, hydropower, and electric supply server for the Pacific Northwest. Jason is the senior technical consultant and advisor to BPA on development and implementation of objectives, policies, programs related to global, national, and regional greenhouse gas and carbon dioxide issues. He's also an attorney. I think we're getting a little bit of a pattern here. Before he joined the Citizens Utility Board in Oregon, which he was for before he came to BPA. He was an attorney with the U.S. Department of Agriculture in the Office of General Counsel, and has a really solid background in environment and natural resources, as well as ocean and coastal programs. So help me welcome Jason. Steve Lamar is project manager for Swinerton Builders, their Los Angeles division. They're the parent entity of the Swinerton family of companies, which is a general contracting firm. He's a LEED accredited professional, has been since 2004. He has served on the board of directors of the U.S. Green Building Council, the LA chapter, since 2005. He's got a lot of experience in the built environment. He is a civil engineer from actually my current neighborhood, Temple University in Philadelphia. Please help me welcome Steve. Michael Ned is the Assistant Director for the Bureau of Land Management's Minerals and Realty Management program. And he is a career civil servant and has held a number of positions within BLM, including State Director, Associate State Director, and Chief Deputy Information Officer. he worked also with the National Park Service, the state of South Carolina, and in some private organizations, but his real love is serving the public. He's got leadership for developing and implementing program policies, guiding the human and fiscal resources for renewable energy, fluid and solid materials programs, and the land and realty programs, and the cadastral survey program, and we'll find out a little bit later from Michael what that is. Help me welcome Michael Ned. And then last but certainly not least is Manal Yamou, who was appointed special advisor to Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger for renewable energy facilities in November of 2009. What she's been doing is shepherding a cohort of large-scale renewable energy projects through California's rather arcane permitting process in time to take advantage of some of the federal stimulus funding. Before taking on that post, Manal served as an advisor and deputy to the governor's chief of staff, and she worked on a wide range of issues, including education and healthcare, especially how do you provide incentives for business development in clean technologies, especially developing California's Green Job Corps and the recently passed state sales tax exemption for clean technology manufacturing equipment, which is always critical for making sure you can actually get clean energy projects on the ground. So help me welcome Manal Yamou. Just to start us off, recently, in fact, just in the last couple of days, the U.S. Department of Interior Secretary Ken Salazar announced the permitting of the first ever solar project on public lands. Manal, what do you think is the role of solar and other large renewable projects in the energy portfolio here, especially in the Western United States?
Well, let me start out by giving you guys, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Giving you guys some statistics. So I started this job about a year ago. And one of the first things that I did when I took office is we basically took a survey. And we had the California Energy Commission call every permitting entity in the state, all the local governments, federal government, and obviously the state entities. And what they found was actually kind of astonishing. They came back to the governor's office and said that they found over 270 renewable projects seeking a permit in the state of California. Taken together, those projects would generate about 70,000 megawatts of renewable power. And to give you a sense of what that means, the capacity of California's entire grid is just over 60,000 megawatts. So it's entirely way more than we could ever use. But what we saw in that stat is an indicator of policies like AB 32 working, of a 33% renewable portfolio standard, of the federal stimulus package working. And what we did is we asked those 280 projects, basically we're trying to figure out, how are you and when are you trying to break ground. So we asked all of them where they were in the process. And we found that 50 of those 270 were hoping to take advantage of a specific pot of federal stimulus money that has been driving a lot of the work that the governor's office has been doing jointly with the Secretary of Interior's office. As part of the stimulus package, the federal government basically said, if you break ground on a renewable project this year, the federal government will take a 30-year project, and when you're done, by 2012 for wind or 2016 for solar, the federal government will actually pay for a 30-year project. Cash grant, non-competitive. We estimate that for California alone, that would be $5 to $10 billion in direct federal money, and about $20 to $30 billion in overall